I used to think there was a certain comfort in belonging, in the warm embrace of family. But the day I told them about my passion for parasitic phenomena, my obsession with survivors of the inexplicable, the microscopic terrors that lurked beneath our reality, comfort shattered into jagged fragments. They laughed. Their mocking laughter wormed its way into my bones. Delusional, they called me. You're chasing ghosts. Their scorn turned my own blood cold. A chill mocking my very existence. But I pressed on, burying their jeers beneath a mountain of data and a lifetime of research. I remember the day I was fired from my job at the biohazard lab, the day the truth I unearthed began to crawl up from the shadows, ready to twist the very fabric of my life. I had revealed missing infectious samples that should have been documented, pathogens, both ancient and alive. Yet my whistleblowing was met with silence and suspicion. My former colleagues turned against me, flinging accusations that I was paranoid, a person lost in conspiracy theories. I'd betrayed my own blood for a truth no one wanted to believe. As the years passed, I became a specter in my own life, a solitary archivist of horrors, while the laughter of my family echoed in my mind. I tested the boundaries of our world's understanding, documenting surge after surge of the unexplainable. I cataloged the unholy connection between parasitic phenomena and inexplicable disappearances, those missing without a trace, vanishing into the dark without even a whisper. It was here, alone in the quiet hum of my research, that I found my redemption. The knowledge I unearthed became a lifeline as it pulled me deeper into the abyss. Today, though, I stood in front of the small, run-down house that once held so much warmth, now a faded memory of the derision I left behind. The laughter had dulled, and the shadows of those who once mocked me now felt like echoes of a distant past. I was no longer the disgrace they had scorned. I had become a renowned expert, a figure spoken of in hushed tones, my warnings echoing through the corridors of academia and beyond. The world had begun to acknowledge the threats I had catalogued, those lurking things that were always there but went unseen. Yet I was not here for accolades. I was here to confront the demons that had long haunted my childhood. I stepped inside, my heartbeat drumming a frantic rhythm against the silence of the home. My family stood frozen in disbelief, their laughter toned to ash. They hadn't expected me back, not like this. And I had a message for them, a truth they could no longer ignore. "Do you still think I'm insane?" I asked, my voice reverberating with an intensity that sent a shiver through the air. "What do you mean?" My father, his face contorted with confusion, took a step back. We thought you were gone for good." "Gone?" I scoffed. "Hardly. I've been cataloging what you called my delusions. I've seen what you refuse to acknowledge, what you choose to ignore." It was then that I opened my satchel, revealing a series of containers lined with the faintest glimmer of something unnatural. The dark content pulsated softly, a whisper against the walls of conventional reasoning. "Do you feel that?" I asked, as if the very air thickened with dread. "This is not just my work. This is a harbinger of what you laugh at. This is the truth that you scorned." I felt their resolve crumble, the smiles wiped from their faces as they stared wide-eyed at the specimens, living reminders of our ignorance. They backed away as I pressed on, describing the connection between these pathogens and the inexplicable terrors they manifested. I recounted stories of people who'd gone missing, consumed by an unseen force, their bodies never found, only to be linked back to the very specimens they now beheld. Something shifted in the room. The air thickened with an energy I had grown used to, but they had never encountered. I watched as their humor soured into panic. The crumbling facade of disbelief splintered before my eyes. They recoiled when a dark, slithering shadow slipped from the confines of my satchel, a parasite that twisted and writhed, a monstrous embodiment of the knowledge I bore. "This parasite," I whispered, "is the combination of every laugh, every doubt you hurled at me. It feeds on skepticism, grows on disbelief. You thought you were safe, didn't you? You thought the world could ignore what I discovered." In that moment, the truth sunk in. The shadow of my journey seeped into their lives as they stared wide-eyed at the wretched creature before them. I could see it in their eyes, the realization of loss and a reflection of everything I had survived. I wasn't merely an archivist anymore. I was a vessel of consequence. "Remember, I warned you," I said, my voice steady yet haunting. I could feel the darkness flooding the room, reclaiming what had been belittled for far too long as I turned to leave. As I stepped out, a chilling silence resonated in their home. The door swung shut behind me, and I realized the shadows had swallowed them whole, their laughter suffocated by a reckoning long overdue. They were now a part of the very phenomena they dismissed as madness. I hadn't just returned. I had triumphed over the ridicule, over the darkness they had stowed away in their minds. They had seen what they once called insane. I had emerged not just as an archivist, but as a harbinger of truth, a guardian of terrifying knowledge, wrapped. The world might fear the things I unearthed, but at least now it couldn't pretend they didn't exist. The dark weight of my findings loomed ahead, but I felt a sense of vindication wash over me. In the end, I was no longer the one lost in shadows. Instead, I had ignited a light that would ensure they could never return to their blissful ignorance.